Great.
Hey.
Hi. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, very good, thank you. I just want to say congratulations on such an incredible film. I watched it last night and I can't stop thinking about it. So well done.
Thank you.
Where did you see it? On a computer?
I did get a screener for it. And even then, I watched it in my bed and I was at home and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna sleep with the lights on today. I'm gonna all those images just kind of stick in your mind. I wanted to start initially with you, Charlotte. Where did the idea come from and the premise? And
so the script was originally written by Kitty Percy, and then we developed it together. It always had like at its heart the sort of story of Veronica and Desi, and that sort of mother-daughter relationship that sort of develops, and going to the Highlands and tapping into the sort of trauma buried in the land of the persecuted women past. And I guess we brought in also a lot of the solace that nature brings and the power of the land as well.
that's amazing. And there's I was just writing my review, and there's a wonderful like comparison with the like Me Too era, people calling that witch trials, and then you've got the actual witch trials in this movie, and obviously you've got that threaded with her like childhood story. How did you combine those themes?
It's interesting how you say it. It's true. I think there was something quite interesting in the idea of someone sort of reclaiming something that hurt them and making it their sort of strength. And whether it be like in this case this physical operation and this childhood trauma, and connecting it as well to the history within the land and reinterpreting that history as well. And reclaiming, I guess, those stories in a way.
Absolutely.
But there were a lot of witches burnt, weren't there, up in Scotland?
Yeah, it's really weird. As a pro capita, like Scotland seems to have had the highest sort of rate of women and men, actually, but mostly women who were prosecuted for witchcraft. It's really interesting. Obviously, people who don't fit and who don't like conform in a certain way, like and who sort of get crushed down. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And obviously you both have the lead characters who don't fit in their own right. You've got even Desi, she's a androgynous female character, and then she starts to
she's like the only like hopeful character for me. She's like the hope of like a non-binary, amazing sort of different way of like addressing these issues. She feels like the sort of hopeful cling on to character. She's also the only kind character.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when she starts to experience the vision herself, it's like, oh, she's going to pass the witchcraft on. She's going to like leave the Highlands more powerful than ever. So Malcolm, you have to then play a character who's not that nice, like the opposite end.
Well, it depends on your point of view. He's not a cuddly kind of character, that's for sure.
No. What drew you to the project in the first place?
Well, I like the whole idea of the script, and so where he fits in it is rather interesting, he's a bit of a narcissist, but I've met people like this a lot in what I do. Tend to meet a lot of them, and I've always found them sort of fascinating though to talk to, interestingly enough. And they've always had amazing experiences, it seems to me. But I like the way this fitted in with what Charlotte was trying to do, and Alice, and that he does have these guilt about what he did. I mean, they're hidden somewhat, and he would deny them. and of course, you know, he did. You know, he did sort of seduce her in a way, you know, because of what he was doing. He needed her to deliver for his movie, and that really was the prime, you know, reason that this happened. Whatever happened, I'm not even sure myself whether it was a physical thing or not. I'm not sure even now. But it doesn't really matter, because if it's mental, then it happened, you know.
And I guess Malcolm exactly was like hovering between that line of, you know, where the sort of reality lies. You know, is his guilt sort of, you know, from his perspective, are we in the world where his guilt is what's haunting him, or is it actually Veronica? And I guess in some ways also there was something that to tie into what you were saying before as well, of this thing of someone who's slightly older and there's, you know, coming back at something that perhaps happened in their childhood, and you know, often seems to be some questioning as to why now, why wait so long. And there is also, you know, these issues of also one has to wait for the time one is strong enough, and also one is able to confront that. So I think that was also something that was interesting in developing Veronica's character.
Absolutely. And there's a line that he says when it's, and it always comes up all the time, it's it was a different era back then, it was a different time, so does that make it acceptable no matter what he did?
Yeah,
well,
it's complex,
yeah,
it is complicated, that, because
it is complicated. And also, you know, you can talk about, you know, Black Lives Matter or any of these things. They want to pull down statues of this, that, and the other. And of course, it was a different era. And where do you stop? You know, where do you stop? And,
Malcolm staying in character.
no, what are you going to pull down the statue of Winston Churchill? You know, because he talked about, you know, whatever it is he talked about, I suppose empire and stuff. And of course, it is a different era.
You're going to put Mary Wollstonecraft instead.
And so don't talk to me about ripping down statues of Winston Churchill. I'll get very pissed off. But no, you know, I don't know.
So he'll be holding Churchill, I'll be pushing Wollstonecraft on. I'm sorry.
I'm feeling a bit ganged up on me.
Sorry.
It's the witchy powers, they're coming through. We're just like seeping through now. It's somewhat reminiscent of the interview you do in the video. In the film.
Exactly, oh my God.
So the other thing I want to talk about is this beautiful language that you have with Mother Earth and Mother Nature in the film, and women's bodies, and like that's just, I just find it really beautiful. And I wondered if you could just talk a bit more about using Mother Nature physically to express her kind of acceptance of her new body.
It's really interesting that you tap on that. There's actually a whole school of thought that ties feminism and environmentalism together, and actually even the way that agriculture is carried out in a very sort of like, or has been carried out in specific ways, like through like plowing and all sorts of stuff, and now is obviously being reinvented as a different way of doing. No, it's kind of Malcolm's gonna have a breakdown. Malcolm's gonna have a breakdown.
Now we're getting into the land of cuckoo-ness. Oh yeah, plowing, that's really fantastic. We're gonna plow the fields, but I'm really thinking of my wife as I'm doing it.
No.
Oh, well, what is it then?
As in actually, you know, in traditional cultures, it's just like the relationship to the land and the respect of like the relationship to the land, and how it's not so much that there's like a misogynistic relationship to plowing or whatever. It's more like
I'm glad to hear that.
That is hilarious, but it is a really interesting relationship of that. Because like, yeah, if you look back at sort of, you know, different societies, I guess, and their evolution of the relationship to nature, it's quite interesting that in our societies, which I guess since like you know, the beginning of Christianity have evolved in quite a patriarchal system. You know, it has developed with a system where the land is there to give us and us to take. And it's kind of interesting how, if you look back at sort of some traditional cultures, that relationship is more of a give, or like, you know, it's a more of an exchange. So there's something kind of interesting, you know, I guess traditionally within that. And I definitely feel that in the film that we touch on that, I guess. And it's amazing. It's really nice that you picked up on that.
Yes, well, it is. I love the shot of her feet in the peat, you know, and that whole thing of going out, and you know, and then the burning of the stake, and that imagery is very powerful.
Really is.
Yeah,
really is. And
yeah.
Like I said, it's been on my mind since I watched it last night.
Well, that's the mark of the movie then.
Yeah,
because, and it's not just a horror movie. In fact, that would be the least way I would describe this movie, as being a horror movie. It's not. I don't know how you describe it, but
I don't know, dream. You described it best, a character-driven nightmare. I like that description.
Yeah.
that is a great, what a great way to end this. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if you felt that we ganged up on you, Malcolm.
We ganged up a little.
Yeah, you did. But I'll forgive you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tate. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Nice talking to you too. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sarah. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey